Phoenix Home Care and Hospice. I choose Phoenix.
Hello and welcome to Why It Matters, a program brought to you by Phoenix Home Care and Hospice. We love to celebrate the moments that life gives us, and I'm excited to celebrate a few moments with my guest today, Daniel Oganyemi. He is the Foster Care Coordinator with Lutheran Family and Children's Services, and I'm very excited to talk to him. So Daniel, you have an awesome job working with kids, helping kids. I think all of us probably know what the term foster care means, but beyond just the term, I don't think we know what it involves. Could you tell us a little bit about foster care?
Sure. So actually my job is more so with the foster families. So I get to do things like train them, license them, make sure their home remains in compliance, different things like that. But foster care in and of itself is actually more than people give it credit for. People come into it with good intentions. They want to help children. They want to give children a loving home, be supportive. However, foster care revolves around more than just the children, because the children don't just come by themselves, if that makes sense. They come with their bio families, they come with some trauma, some baggage of their own,
Sure.
even at young ages. And so getting into foster care, and when people want to get into foster care, it's important that they understand that it's beyond just the children. And so you, obviously, it's like the easiest, it's the first line of defense, if you will, with the children. But you work with a team, and the team consists of, sometimes that's like licensing workers, but mainly case managers, the bio family, like I stated before, juvenile officers, guardian ad litems, judges, therapists.
Wow,
So
yeah, it's a whole team.
It is a team, and that's an important concept
To understand before you jump in.
Right, and being successful foster parents, being successful even as a licensing worker, learning how to continue to be professional, work as a team, and just understanding that it's not necessarily just the child that's in care.
Right, it's the whole team that's involved, and we're moving that towards something more positive. So if I said, yeah, foster care it's calling me, it's on my heart, it's something that I feel like I want to do, I just don't know if I want to jump in with both feet and say, hey, send me a bunch of kids and let me get on that team. How do I start? How do I get involved and help if I can't just dive right in?
Sure. So there's actually a few different things. So I'll start with foster parenting itself, because there are some myths about that as well. So obviously you can become a foster parent. That's kind of the easiest way. You can go through the state, you can go through agencies like Lutheran Family and Children's Services, or some other agencies that do licensing and things like that. And foster care is designed for reunification. That's always the main goal. Typically, I'd say always. It's pretty much 98% of the time the goal is to try to help those children get back to their biological family.
Okay.
Because we understand that biological ties are important.
Right.
And not only are they important, you can't get away from them. They're inevitable. And so those children, regardless of the background that they've come from, they're always going to have that tie to their biological family. So that's the first way, is working with not only the children but the family and getting and reunifying that family together. Obviously, the other one is donations. I always have to say stuff about that. Is people can donate their money to the cause. To
sometimes that's all I want to do, but
Right.
that makes me feel like I've contributed. I've done something.
Right.
Great.
And those are the kind of the big two ways that people mainly get involved. But there are smaller things that can be done that really will go a long way. So one of the things that we really encourage is for people to understand that these children are experiencing trauma. They've come from trauma. So really just helping them build relationships that last a lifetime, it goes beyond
Wonderful.
any money, anything can go.
So the community stepping up too,
Absolutely.
in schools, in churches, in neighborhoods, saying, hey, let me wrap my arms around you and help you.
Yeah, you really took the words right out of my mouth. It's like the old saying that it takes a village to raise a child.
Sure.
That really is true when you think about what all goes into foster care. And sometimes these children, they really come from nothing, and they come and get lost in the shuffle sometimes, or just they're here, there, everywhere. And sometimes it's kind of sad when you see that. But when you really see church leaders, when you really see neighbors, and you see those teachers, those administration at school, and just different community leaders step up and get involved, it's really a cool thing. And it's not even, it's whatever you're good at, you can still be good at it to a foster child.
Yeah.
And a foster
Bring
family.
them in.
Right.
Yeah.
You can show them how to cook, how to sew. You can just be there for support. You can do literally some of anything that people wouldn't even think about.
That is helpful. You know, in your name, I look at your name, Lutheran Family and Children's Services, and you've got this name Lutheran in there,
Right.
which sounds religious. Are you a church? Are you affiliated with the Lutheran faith? What's the deal?
Right. So, as our development officer, Jamie Craig, would say, we are not a church. We are not a church. We're not an orphanage. We're not anything like that. We started, it's actually celebrating 150 years, and we're actually based out of St. Louis, but we started with some Lutheran background, and we do have some Lutheran support now. However, we're not necessarily tied solely to the Lutheran faith, meaning we serve others as well.
Sure.
So, I mean, there are certain restrictions and things like that, of course, with the name, but we do serve more people other than Lutherans. We employ people other than Lutherans, and we're literally here to just try to, I mean, we do believe in God, we do believe in spreading the love through Jesus Christ. However, we don't push religion on the people. We don't say you have to be Lutheran to join us, you have to be Lutheran to be a part.
Sure.
That's just our background.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's where those are your roots. That's
Right.
awesome. Well, Daniel, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for helping us better understand the world of foster care.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us today for Why It Matters, a service brought to you by Phoenix Home Care and Hospice.
Phoenix Home Care and Hospice. I choose Phoenix.